You must eat this right now. It is delicious.
No, get it away from me. I will not eat it.
The kimchi stew tasted wrong. Sophia's spoon paused halfway to her mouth as her mother-in-law Minhee smiled across the kitchen table, watching her with those dark, calculating eyes. Something bitter lingered beneath the fermented cabbage and spice, something that made Sophia's instincts scream danger. Eat, eat, Minhee urged in her broken English, pushing the bowl closer. Good for baby. Make strong. Sophia was 5 months pregnant, her belly just starting to show beneath her loose hanbok. She'd been living in Seoul for 8 months now, married to Minhee's son Taehyun, and every single day had been a battle with this woman who smiled with her mouth but never with her eyes. But this was different. This felt like death. I'm actually not very hungry, Sophia said, pushing the bowl away. Morning sickness. Minhee's smile tightened. Is afternoon. No morning sickness now. Eat. I said no. Sophia stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. That's when she saw it. A small glass vial on the counter behind Minhee, partially hidden by a dish towel. Empty. The label was in Korean, but Sophia recognized the warning symbol. Poison. Her blood turned to ice. Minhee followed her gaze and her expression shifted from fake sweetness to something cold and terrifying. You saw. What did you put in my food? Sophia's hand instinctively covered her belly. Something to solve a problem. Minhee stood, no longer pretending. You think I let my son marry African woman and have mixed baby? You ruin family honor. Ruin pure bloodline. Better you lose baby now than bring shame later. Sophia backed toward the door, her mind racing. She needed to get out, get to a hospital, save her baby. But Minhee moved faster than a woman her age should, blocking the kitchen exit. You're insane, Sophia whispered. I'm protecting my family. You never belong here. You never will. Minhee pulled a knife from the block. Now you eat, or I make sure you never leave this kitchen. If you're already hooked and want to see how Sophia survives this nightmare, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment telling us what you would do in this situation, and let's see if Sophia's dangerous secret can save her life. Sophia's heart hammered. Minhee didn't know. She had no idea who Sophia really was before she came to Korea. Before she fell in love with Taehyun and tried to become the perfect wife. Before she buried her past and pretended to be someone soft and harmless. Sophia wasn't harmless. She'd never been harmless. Put the knife down, Minhee. Sophia's voice changed, dropping the nervousness, the politeness, the act she'd been performing for 8 months. You have no idea what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. Getting rid of. Sophia moved. Years of training flooded back as she sidestepped Minhee's clumsy knife swing, caught her wrist, twisted it sharply. The knife clattered to the floor. Before Minhee could scream, Sophia had her in a chokehold, controlled and precise. Listen very carefully, Sophia said in Minhee's ear. Before I came to Korea, I worked for people who made problems disappear. I was very good at my job. I left that life because I wanted peace, because I fell in love with your son and thought I could be normal. But you just tried to poison me and my baby. So let me be very clear. If you ever, and I mean ever, try to hurt me or my child again, I will forget I'm trying to be a good person. Do you understand? Minhee nodded frantically, tears streaming down her face. Sophia released her and the older woman collapsed against the counter, gasping. Now give me that vial. Tell me exactly what you put in my food. Minhee's hands shook as she grabbed the vial. Rat poison. Just small amount. To make you sick, make you lose baby. Sophia's vision went red. She forced herself to breathe, to think. How much? Not enough to kill. Just enough to. How much? Sophia's voice was deadly calm. Half vial. Maybe baby die, maybe you just get very sick. I don't know. Sophia grabbed her phone, already dialing emergency services. In Korean, she explained she'd been poisoned, gave the address, described the substance. Then she called Taehyun. Sophia? I'm in a meeting. Your mother just tried to poison me. Get home now. She hung up before he could respond. Minhee was crying now, full body sobs. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just want you to leave. Go back to Nigeria. Let my son marry Korean girl. You tried to murder your grandchild. Sophia sat down, keeping Minhee in her line of sight, one hand on her belly. There's no coming back from that. The ambulance arrived first. Paramedics rushed in, asking rapid questions in Korean. Sophia answered fluently, another thing Minhee hadn't known about her. She'd been studying Korean secretly for a year before moving here, understanding every cruel thing Minhee had said about her when she thought Sophia couldn't understand. At the hospital, they pumped her stomach, started in 4, monitored the baby. The doctor was grave but hopeful. The amount of poison was small enough that with treatment, both Sophia and the baby should survive. The next 24 hours would tell. Taehyun burst into the hospital room, his face white with panic. Sophia, what happened? Where's my mother? Your mother tried to kill our baby. Sophia's voice was flat, emotionless. Shock was setting in. She put rat poison in my lunch. That's impossible. My mother would never. The police have her in custody. The poison is being analyzed. The doctors are treating me for poisoning as we speak. Sophia looked at him, really looked at him. Did you know she hated me this much? Taehyun sank into the chair beside her bed. I knew she wasn't happy about our marriage. She's traditional. She wanted me to marry Korean. But this? Sophia, I swear I had no idea she was capable of this. She told me I ruined your family honor. That a mixed baby would bring shame. She said she was protecting your family from me. You're my family. Taehyun grabbed her hand. You and our baby. My mother is wrong. She's sick. I'll never forgive her for this. I almost killed her. Sophia's voice cracked. When she pulled the knife on me, Taehyun, I could have killed her with my bare hands. I wanted to. He stared at her. What are you talking about? This was the moment. The truth she'd been hiding. Before I met you, I worked in private security. Not the kind that stands at doors. The kind that handles high-risk situations. Extractions, protection details, threat neutralization. I was trained to fight, to survive, to eliminate threats. You never told me this. Because I left that life. I wanted normal. I wanted love and peace and a family. I thought I could bury who I was and just be your wife. Tears streamed down her face. But when your mother threatened our baby, all that training came back. I disarmed her. I had her in a chokehold. If I'd wanted to, I could have. But you didn't. Taehyun held her face gently. You controlled yourself. You called for help. You, the strongest person I've ever met, and you chose to be vulnerable with me. That takes more courage than any fight. Sophia started crying then, deep sobs that shook her whole body. Taehyun held her through it, whispering reassurances in Korean and English, promising that they'd get through this, that their baby would be okay, that his mother would never hurt them again. Over the next week, Sophia remained hospitalized for monitoring. The baby showed strong vital signs despite the poisoning. Sophia's body flushed out the toxins. Visitors came, Taehyun's sister Jiwoo, who cried and apologized for their mother, Taehyun's father, who looked like he'd aged 10 years and begged Sophia's forgiveness, friends from Sophia's Korean language class who brought flowers and outrage. Minhee's trial was fast-tracked. The evidence was overwhelming. She pleaded guilty to attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon, hoping for leniency. The judge was not lenient. 7 years in prison, followed by deportation proceedings if she wasn't a citizen. Taehyun's father filed for divorce immediately. On the day Sophia was discharged, Jiwoo came to help her home. I need to tell you something, the younger woman said as they packed Sophia's things. I knew my mother didn't like you. I saw how she treated you when Taehyun wasn't around. I should have said something. I should have warned you. It's not your fault. I was a coward. I didn't want to cause family drama. And you almost died because I kept quiet. Jiwoo's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. You're my sister now, and I failed you. Sophia hugged her. You're here now. That's what matters. And Jiwoo? I need you to promise me something. If you ever see someone being abused, mistreated, targeted, don't stay quiet. Drama is better than death. Always. At home, Taehyun had transformed the apartment. His mother's things were gone, donated, or destroyed. The kitchen had been completely redone, every dish, pot, and utensil replaced. He'd hired a cleaner to scrub every surface. He'd even changed the locks, though Minhee was in prison. "I wanted you to feel safe here," he explained. "This is our home. No bad memories." That night, lying in their bed, Sophia's hand on her belly feeling their daughter kick, she finally felt like she could breathe. "I want to teach her to fight," she said suddenly. Taehyun turned to look at her. "Our daughter." "Yes. I want her to know how to protect herself. I want her to be strong and capable and never, ever vulnerable the way your mother thought I was." Sophia's voice was fierce. She's going to be half Nigerian, half Korean, growing up in a world that might judge her for both. She needs to be strong. Then we'll make sure she is. Taehyun kissed her. Just like her mother. The next months were peaceful in a way Sophia had never experienced. Taehyun's family rallied around them, treating Sophia with new respect tinged with slight fear. Word had spread about what happened in the kitchen, about how Sophia had disarmed Minhee. The other family members looked at Sophia differently now, but not with hostility. With cautious admiration. Sophia gave birth to a healthy baby girl in January. They named her Zara, a name that worked in both Yoruba and Korean. She had Sophia's dark skin and Taehyun's eyes, and she was perfect. When Sophia held her for the first time, she wept with relief and joy and the knowledge that she'd protected this life, fought for this moment. Minhee sent a letter from prison. Sophia almost threw it away without reading. Taehyun said it was her choice. Finally, curiosity won. The letter was in Korean, translated by a prison volunteer. "I am sorry for what I did. I was raised to believe that purity of blood and tradition mattered above all else. I was wrong. I see now that love matters more than blood. That family is who we choose, not just who we're born to. I have shamed myself and my family. I have lost my son, my husband, and my chance to know my granddaughter. I deserve this punishment. I am sorry I never tried to know you, Sophia. I am sorry I let fear and prejudice blind me to the person you are. I hope someday you can forgive me, though I know I don't deserve it. Please tell Taehyun I love him. Please tell Zara her grandmother was a fool who learned wisdom too late." Sophia read the letter 3 times. She showed it to Taehyun, who read it silently, his face unreadable. "Do you forgive her?" he asked finally. "I don't know. Maybe someday. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean letting her back into our lives." Sophia looked at Zara, sleeping peacefully in her bassinet. "She tried to kill our daughter before she was even born. That's not something you just get over." "I know. I don't forgive her either. Maybe I never will." Taehyun took Sophia's hand. "But I'm grateful every day that you survived. That you were strong enough to protect yourself and our baby. You're the hero of this story, Sophia. Never forget that." When Zara was 6 months old, Sophia received an unexpected visitor. Her old boss from Lagos, Uncle Chidi, showed up at their apartment with his security detail, looking out of place in Seoul's modern high-rise. "Uncle." Sophia hugged him, shocked. "What are you doing here?" "I heard about what happened. Took me a while to get the full story, but when I did, I had to come see for myself that you were okay." He looked her over critically. "You look soft. Happy. This is good. I am happy. Come meet my family." Uncle Chidi held Zara with surprising gentleness, and Taehyun watched with obvious curiosity. Over tea, Chidi told stories about Sophia's past, about missions they'd worked together, about the fierce young woman who could stare down armed militants without blinking. "She was my best operative," Chidi said. "When she left to marry you, I thought I was losing my right hand. But I see now she was gaining something more valuable. Peace. Love. Purpose. She saved her own life with the training you gave her," Taehyun said. "I'm grateful to you for teaching her. I'm grateful to you for loving her." Chidi looked at Sophia. "But I do have a question. Are you done with the security work? Or would you ever consider coming back?" Sophia looked at her daughter, at her husband, at the life they'd built. "I'm done with the field work. But I've been thinking about teaching self-defense classes for women, specifically for immigrant women in Korea who might be vulnerable. Women who need to know they can protect themselves." Chidi smiled. That sounds perfect. If you ever want resources, funding, connections, you call me. What you're doing here, building a family, building a new life, breaking barriers, that's the most important mission of all. After he left, Taehyun asked, "Are you really going to start teaching?" Yes. What happened to me, it can't happen to other women. There are so many foreign women in Korea, married to Korean men, isolated by language and culture, vulnerable to abuse. I can help them. I can give them power. Within a year, Sophia had opened her first self-defense studio. She called it Zara's Shield, named after her daughter. The classes filled immediately with immigrant women hungry to learn. Sophia taught them practical defense, how to read threats, how to trust their instincts. She taught them they didn't have to be victims. One student, a Filipino woman named Marie, confessed that her Korean mother-in-law had been poisoning her food slowly, causing mysterious illnesses. Armed with Sophia's training and guidance, Marie confronted her, documented everything, pressed charges. The mother-in-law was arrested. Marie divorced her enabling husband and started a new life. "You saved me," Marie told Sophia. "Just like you saved yourself." Sophia's story spread. News outlets wanted interviews. She became a minor celebrity, the Nigerian woman who'd survived poisoning and fought back. Some Koreans criticized her, said she was promoting violence, disrupting family harmony. But more women reached out, sharing their own stories of abuse, asking for help. On Zara's second birthday, Sophia sat on their balcony, watching the sunset over Seoul. Taehyun joined her, bringing tea. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "Marrying me? Coming to Korea? Everything that happened? I regret that your mother tried to kill me, obviously." Sophia smiled slightly. "But regret marrying you? Never. You gave me Zara. You gave me a purpose I didn't know I needed. You loved me at my strongest and my weakest. How could I regret that? My mother's up for parole next year." Sophia had known this was coming. "How do you feel about that?" "I don't want her near her family. She can have a relationship with Jiwoo if my sister wants that, but not with us. Not with Zara." His voice was firm. What she did was unforgivable. "I agree." Sophia took his hand. "Zara deserves grandparents who celebrate her, not ones who see her as something shameful. My parents love her enough for 4 grandparents anyway." They sat in comfortable silence, watching their daughter play inside through the glass door. Zara was talking now, mixing Korean and English, and even some Yoruba words Sophia's mother taught her over video calls. She was fearless, curious, strong. "She's going to change the world," Taehyun said softly. "She already has. She changed ours." Before we close this chapter, if Sophia's strength inspired you, if this story of survival and justice moved you, do us a favor. Hit that like button right now. Share this video with any woman who needs to hear that she's stronger than she knows. Drop a comment telling us about a time you stood up for yourself or someone you love. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of courage, resilience, and the power of refusing to be a victim. 5 years later, Sophia stood in front of a room full of women at the Seoul International Community Center. She was there to give a talk about her journey, about surviving attempted murder, about building a life from ashes. Zara sat in the front row next to Taehyun, almost 7 years old now, wearing a dobok from her own taekwondo classes. "I want to tell you about the day I almost died," Sophia began. "And about the day I decided to truly live." She told them everything. The poisoning, the confrontation, the hospital, the trial. She told them about her secret past, about the skills she'd hidden, about being forced to reveal her true strength. She told them about the shame she'd felt at first, worried she'd been too violent, too aggressive, too much. "But then I realized something," Sophia said, her voice strong. "There's no such thing as too much when you're protecting your life and your child's life. There's no such thing as being too strong. The world tells women to be soft, to be quiet, to keep peace at all costs. But sometimes peace costs too much. Sometimes survival requires violence. And that's okay." The women applauded. Some were crying. After the talk, they lined up to speak with her, to thank her, to share their own stories. Sophia listened to each one, gave advice, offered resources, connected them to her network of lawyers, counselors, and supporters. One woman, older Korean, approached nervously. "My name is Sunhee. I was friends with your mother-in-law before she went to prison." Sophia tensed. "Okay. I came to tell you I'm sorry. We all knew she was cruel to you. We heard her complain about her foreign daughter-in-law. We should have said something. We should have stood up for you. Instead, we stayed silent because it wasn't our business." Sunhee bowed deeply. "You are a credit to all women, Korean or not. Thank you for teaching us to be brave." That night, tucking Zara into bed, Sophia's daughter asked, "Mama, why did Grandma Minhee try to hurt you?" They'd told Zara age-appropriate versions of the truth as she got older. She was scared of people who were different from her. And fear made her do terrible things. "But you weren't scared of her." "Oh, I was terrified. But I was more scared of what would happen if I didn't fight back." Sophia kissed Zara's forehead. "That's the secret, baby. Courage isn't not being scared. Courage is being scared and doing the hard thing anyway. I want to be brave like you. You already are. Every day, you're brave just by being yourself, by being proud of being both Nigerian and Korean, by not letting anyone make you feel less than. That's the bravest thing of all." After Zara fell asleep, Sophia found Taehyun in their home office. "Do you think she'll be okay?" Growing up knowing her grandmother tried to kill her before she was born. "She'll be better than okay. She has you as her mother. She's learning strength and self-worth and the power of standing up for yourself." Taehyun pulled Sophia into his lap. "You didn't just survive, Sophia. You transformed that trauma into something that helps hundreds of women. That's heroic." "I don't feel heroic. I feel lucky. If that construction net hadn't been there, if that poison had been a higher dose, if I hadn't had my training. But you did. You had everything you needed when you needed it. That's not luck. That's preparation meeting opportunity." He held her close. "And now you're preparing other women. You're making sure they have what they need to survive their own battles." Sophia rested her head on his shoulder, feeling grateful and tired and fierce all at once. "I never wanted to be a fighter again. But I guess some of us don't get to choose. We fight because we must, because our lives and our children's lives depend on it. Then I'm glad you know how to fight. I'm glad you're strong enough to protect yourself and our daughter and all those women who come to you for help." Taehyun kissed her. "I love all of you, Sophia. The warrior and the mother and the teacher and the woman who still sometimes wakes up from nightmares. All of you. Even the part that could kill someone with her bare hands? Especially that part. That part saved my family." 10 years after the poisoning, on Sophia's 40th birthday, her self-defense studio had expanded to 5 locations across Seoul. She'd trained over 2,000 women. 37 of them had used that training to escape abusive situations. 4 had used it to save their lives from attackers. Sophia kept their thank you letters in a file, reading them when she needed reminding of why her own survival mattered. Minhee had been released from prison 3 years earlier. She'd moved to Busan, far from Seoul, and never attempted to contact them. Taehyun's sister said their mother had found religion, was volunteering with immigrant support groups, was trying to atone. Sophia didn't need to see her to forgive her. She'd forgiven her years ago, not for Minhee's sake, but for her own. Carrying that anger would have poisoned her more surely than any toxin. On the night of her birthday, surrounded by family and friends, Sophia made a toast. To survival. To strength. To every woman who refused to be a victim. To every mother who protected her child. To every person who chose love over fear. This life we're living, it's a miracle built on fighting for what matters. I wouldn't change a thing. As glasses clinked and people cheered, Zara, now 12 and already training in multiple martial arts, whispered to her mother, "When I grow up, I want to be just like you." Sophia pulled her daughter close, this fierce, beautiful child who existed because Sophia had been strong enough to fight. "When you grow up, I want you to be better than me. Stronger, kinder, braver." That's what all this was for. So you could be anything you want to be, and no one could ever make you feel powerless. Did you feel powerless when Grandma Minhee tried to hurt you? For about 10 seconds. Then I remembered who I was. And who I am as a woman who protects what she loves, no matter the cost. Sophia smiled. Remember that always. You are strong. You are capable. You are loved. And anyone who tries to hurt you will learn exactly what your mother learned that day in the kitchen. We are not victims. We are survivors. And we fight back.